Morning, everyone. Next few days through the weekend look like good getting outside and walking days. Certainly encourage everybody to do that as, let's face it, it's the middle of November, or it's going to be the middle of November now. We don't know how many of those days we're going to have for a few months, so everybody get outside. I want to take most of this time to talk and to clarify the New York State travel rule that went into effect actually today, officially, but it was announced over the weekend by Governor Cuomo, and so it represents a significant change in terms of how New York State looks at quarantining from coming from states, and we've had to scramble a little bit here in terms of making sure everybody's on the same page and testing, et cetera, et cetera. So to clarify, first and foremost, this doesn't apply to residents coming from contiguous states. So Pennsylvania and New Jersey and Massachusetts and Connecticut and Vermont doesn't apply to them. Those folks can come in, come and go. If anybody though from those states, of course, or New York State wants to come and stay overnight here at Canterbury Woods, as has been the policy for a few weeks now, they would have to come, they would have to get an antigen test, which we offer on Thursdays and Fridays at both sites, and then that's good for 48 hours, and then they would have to get successive tests after that. So keep that in mind. For non-contiguous states, meaning everybody else, the process is as follows. So let's say somebody's coming from Florida, they would have to get a test, a negative test, and have proof of it within 3 days of their trip. They would then come to New York State, and effectively they would have to quarantine in New York State for additional 3 days, and then get a second negative test. That's the way the system works. So first negative test, and I'll do a little bit of a time frame here. First negative test will be within 3 days of leaving Florida, and then come to New York State, quarantine for 3 days, and then a second negative test, and then go about your business. That's how the guideline is. So what you can do is do your second negative test here at Canterbury Woods. So if somebody's coming from Florida, and the time frame would go like this, and this is just a sample. So let's say somebody is going to be traveling from Florida and getting to New York State on a Monday. Again, just an example. They get here on a Monday, they need to be able to prove that they got a negative test, COVID test, on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The previous Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So they would go get a test on either Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They would show up on Monday. They don't necessarily, I don't know off the top of my head if they need to have that negative test with them when they show up in New York State on Monday, but they need proof of negative within Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's, I guess, a good question. But they need a negative test result Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They travel to New York on Monday, and they effectively quarantine for the next 3 days, so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then they can come here on Thursday and get an antigen test, and if that read negative, they would fulfill the guidelines. So again, just for argument's sake, if somebody was to travel to New York State, get to New York State on a Monday, they would need to show a negative result for the previous 3 days, from the previous 3 days of a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. They would bring that negative result with them to New York State, get here on a Monday. They would quarantine Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they would get hopefully a follow-up negative test on Thursday, which they could do here at Canterbury Woods through our antigen testing system. They would make an appointment. When they came to make an appointment, using that example, when they came to make an appointment, this is what we will ask when they come into their appointment. Let's say they're coming from Florida again, and they've gone through all these steps. They come here on that Thursday for an antigen test. They will need to present to us proof of their first negative test within that time frame that I talked about, proof that they quarantined here in New York State for 3 days, and their driver's license, so we know what state they're coming from. So 3 things: proof of the negative test, proof of a 3-day quarantine, and their driver's license, so we know how to treat them when they're here. If they're from a contiguous state, obviously we don't need proof of a previous negative test, because that's the rule. If they're not from a contiguous state, we would need proof. Is it complicated? Yes, it is. However, be patient with us. We think we have it right. I know people are going to continue to have questions. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can call the front desk, 929-5800 here, 929-5600 at 8th Circle. You can email me directly, rwallace@echa.org. Keep in mind, as frustrating as it is for all of you to keep this all straight, it is equally frustrating for us, because we didn't anticipate that there's going to be this marked change, and we're reacting to it as well, and really trying to both get it right, accommodate the folks that want to travel here, because this has opened up a window of more possibility. But first and foremost, of course, keep people safe and keep our residents safe and our staff safe and so on. So we're always going to err on the side of conservative and make the best decisions possible. So again, if anybody has any questions on that, give us a call or you can email me. The other thing to talk about today is the first day that we're asking our family caregivers, our personal care aides, any other medical folks providing direct care in independent residence homes or patio homes to prove to us before they come into Canterbury Woods that they have had a negative test within the last 7 days. So we have the folks out at a security checkpoint here in Williamsville asking that question, and the folks at 8th Circle at the front desk asking that question as well. Again, we're asking folks just to prove that you had a negative test, either via text from some place. I know New York State sends texts, something in writing. There's various mechanisms that people are using to get those tests. We're just asking for proof. And be patient. We're going to be patient with folks too. We know there's a bit of a lag sometimes, so we're going to be patient early this week or the middle of this week with people that have gotten their tests, but we'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. But we're really, tomorrow and Friday and going into the weekend, really going to be more and more conservative on this. And if healthcare workers, aides, personal companion aides, family caregivers show up and want to get into the community without proof of that negative tests, they're simply not going to be able to. Again, I know that's going to create some frustration with folks. I'm sorry ahead of time for that, but as I continue to say, we're going to take as conservative a route as we can. We are looking at the numbers. Keep in mind, there's no perfect plan out there, but we're gonna put plans in place that we think we're going to be most effective, and we think that this is a very effective way to go here. So, with that, again, questions on anything, rwallace@echa.org. And by all means, get out, enjoy some of the good weather for the next few days, and I'll be back here on Monday. Thank you.